Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jerry Cooey, and I am in a very festive spirit due to the holidays.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Thanks for joining us. Also festive, though.
Yes, even Democrats can be festive when they really try hard.
In between the war on Christmas.
Is it an artificial tree, or is it okay to cut down trees? Is
No,
it okay to kill?
We have the petroleum products.
So we don't. You don't want to cut down trees.
You really don't think
tree?
that's a terrible waste to just go out and chop a tree down and then it's dead 2 weeks
Well, it looks
later.
so nice in a house, though.
It doesn't look nice. It looks like a dead tree and it's dropping its needles everywhere. It's just terrible.
Folks, look, I want to say something, and I potentially, well, we've talked about it a little bit, but folks, I just want you to understand, me personally, I love the holiday season.
As do I.
I work all year long to have a great Christmas and enjoy the holiday with friends and families. But I would like to say, and I'll let Deborah get on off into the commercialization issue, but there's a couple issues. We now have presidential campaigns that last 3 years. We have county elections that are lasting 2 years in a 4-year term. And one of the problems, I said, everybody's trying to one up on the Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
And I would just like for us to go back to kind of the gentleman's agreement like it was before, that we enjoy Thanksgiving. And then right after Thanksgiving, then by all means, to our cities and to our counties and our government agencies and the businesses, then by all means put up your Christmas lights and let's start working towards the Christmas holiday. I was really disappointed in a lot of the retailers this year that forced their employees on Thanksgiving to work.
Yeah.
That started Black Friday earlier, and
I swear I saw some Christmas stuff up before Halloween at one place.
I think we need to get it back between the ditches a little bit. I think from November the 28th till December the 31st is plenty of time to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, and I just think it's getting a little out of hand. Are we going to start? We're going to start in June. We have the 4th of July and then put up Christmas lights. Where does this end? We just leave the Christmas lights up year round. I mean, it's becoming a little much. All this one-upmanship that's going on.
Well, I mean, the city of Milton had their. It looks very nice, but they had their Christmas stuff up before Thanksgiving this year. I noticed that because I drive through there to work.
And I really think I don't see the need in it.
Yeah.
Look, I love Christmas. I love the time and seeing friends and family and I certainly enjoy handing out gifts and all that kind of stuff. But it's just getting out of hand. It's kind of like we're almost playing football year round. We're almost playing baseball year round. We're almost playing basketball. Everybody's trying to one up. And it's just getting a little.
Well, and it's to make a buck. That's the depressing part. It's all about making money off it.
Right.
And, it's the one holiday where you're not supposed to. You're supposed to get away from that. That's the idea, anyway.
Well, as always, folks, you're watching Santa Rosa Week TV. / the microscope of Team Santa Rosa. Once again, here we go again, folks. As you followed the 6-year saga of Team Santa Rosa, as we've gone through all of this,
and of course we actually documented step by step their forced coming into the sunshine, because it was our show that actually went there with the cameras rolling and said, can we have some records?
And forced them into it.
And we were at the meeting where Charlie Crist was there, where you told Charlie Crist
that the state attorney needed to participate in criminal activity.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand. And folks, look, you have to understand, I barely graduated high school. I mean, I'm just not a very educated man, and I struggle understanding things from time to time. But Deborah and I, we have watched the majority of the county commissioners express to the board of Team Santa Rosa that they need a more qualified individual to head up economic development in Santa Rosa County. Now, even as simple-minded as I am,
Yeah.
I could understand that.
I have never expressed that.
You didn't personally?
Because, no, because that's not my issue, and we've discussed this, and I don't think it has anything to do with anybody's qualifications. The county commission has had full control over every single thing that Team Santa Rosa has done since their inception. They've not done anything, gone off half-cocked and done anything that the county commission didn't know about it.
Right.
The Team Santa Rosa has existed for a long time. It was a way for this county commission to get stuff done outside the sunshine, under the table, behind the scenes, and before they were, dragged into the sunshine. And they were carrying out exactly what they were told to carry out.
Right.
That's my opinion right there. I don't think it would have mattered who was in charge of it. It would have been the same stuff going on.
Well, here's the place that we find ourselves at now. There's a new chairman at Team Santa Rosa. His name is Dave Hawksing. He owns Cat Country. He also owns 1620 AM News Radio. He's the new chairman. The board of directors instructed him. Deborah went to the meeting. Tell the folks what went on at the 3-hour meeting at Team Santa Rosa.
Well, there was some question as to whether they wanted to ask for the extension. They only got I think it was a 6-month extension originally,
Right.
and they want the full 2-year extension. And board members kicked it around and basically urged their chair, Mr. Hawksang, not to ask for the extension.
And not to ask for any more money.
Right, yeah, now's maybe not the time to ask for money. Just go up there, say, here's the report, do with it what you will.
Right. And the report that we're talking about is...
Well, and he wanted to show that there were two options presented. The status quo, keep the status quo, or keep the status quo and add $100,000 a year.
Right.
Whatever they want to call it, CEO or something like that.
Right.
And he said, well, let's present both options. He wanted to present both options and say these are both acceptable.
To start out with, Deborah and I are both, certainly opposed to bringing a consultant in to look at this. Okay, we're not dumb people. We've looked at economic development. Deborah, not quite so much as I, but the public-private partnership with the proper safeguards in place, with open meetings and open records, I'm okay with that. But one of the issues that has occurred here is the board of county commissioners has asked for a name change and personnel change. And Mr. Hawksing, and look, I've had 4 private conversations with Mr. Hawksing. And let me assure you that I didn't mix my words. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, you need a qualified person in charge of economic development in Santa Rosa County, and you need to change the name of it. Any place I go, if Team Santa Rosa comes up, when people quit spitting about it, because they're hopping mad about it, the money that gets spent, and here's another $10,000 to $14,000 that was spent on a consultant, the name is not very good in Santa Rosa County. There's a problem, and folks, when you understand that there's 3 FBI subpoenas and a $5 million lawsuit, okay, every time anything occurs on those 4 categories, Team Santa Rosa's name in a negative fashion is going to be brought out through the media. So it's not going to end. And Mr. Hawksing apparently took it upon himself at a recent county commission meeting, even though his board had, I feel like from what Deborah told me, gave him very clear direction. He still went forward And
Well, he had said if I get an opening, I want to say it, and they were
right,
trying to tell him
don't do it.
you're asking for money. You know, they're not going to want to give you money after
Right.
they've spent 10 grand, and this
Right.
is the result.
So he goes forward at a Board of County Commission meeting, and the consultant read his report. And look, I'm going to say there was a lot of stuff in the consultant's report that I'm kind of okay with, but a couple of the things. One of them is the consultant. I think he admitted that you needed a better qualified person, but the report didn't say do away with the person that's in there now. He wouldn't go that far. So basically what we wound up with is Hoxing goes forward and he asks for the full 2-year extension, and they want $100,000 to hire somebody to
Right.
keep an eye on Cindy Anderson.
Well, they want the new person to do marketing, and then they want Cindy Anderson, who's the current chair or CEO. They want her to do, I guess, the sites management or stuff like that. Take
Yeah.
the infrastructure and stuff like that.
Well, you know, to add insult to injury to all of this, and well, hold this up so you can see, the letterhead is Cat Country and 16:20 a.m. This was sent from the chairman of Team Santa Rosa. And I'm going to read part of it to you folks. And I myself and several other citizens wasn't very happy about this paragraph. Some folks may have made a hobby of lobbying our commissioners to eliminate Team and or to terminate Team's executive director, Cindy Anderson. In parentheses, he puts, these folks are taxpayers but do not seem to be job creators in our county, close parentheses. It seems that these people believe that Team and its leaders have done a bad job and are not being successful at facilitating job growth in our county. Some commissioners seem to be favoring these critics' point of view. Now, we're going to show you the actual video of my comments and some other comments, but I just want to look in the camera, and so Mr. Hoxing, I'll make sure I send him a copy of this show so he can hear it again. You had very simple instructions, Mr. Hoxing. That was to find a qualified individual to run Team Santa Rosa. Your other instructions was to change the name because the brand of Team Santa Rosa is not a good one in Santa Rosa County. Not only did you fail in those two missions, but now you have gone against the wishes of your own board and pushed forward for an additional $100,000 for another employee at Team Santa Rosa. Now, folks, I got up and said I would like to see a nationwide search for a qualified person to run, but not in addition to Team Santa Rosa, to replace the current director of economic development. And just like I said at the meeting, it's not about firing Cindy Anderson. It's about having a qualified person in that position.
See, I completely disagree with you. We've discussed this. You have qualified people all over America with these economic development agencies, and there are no jobs. These agencies do not create jobs. What they do is they take tax dollars and they divert them to economic development jobs, and they get grant money and they distribute those. They hand it out like candy. And there's no way, no how, when you have that kind of agency set up with all that free money. And I can't believe I'm the tax and spend liberal and having to school you on this. But there's no way when you have tax dollars going into this, picking winners and losers, and, well, we're going to give you free land in the industrial park, and we're not going to give it to you because we don't like you because,
right,
your company...
there's
no way you don't have corruption. This is a recipe for corruption. That's the mechanics of it. It's a recipe. It is corruption in an institutional form, and they need to just stop taking tax dollars and pouring it down this toilet. Period. What happened Monday? let's review what happened Monday. We saw Team Santa Rosa come up and say, give us $100,000. We've already spent $10,000. The guy that cost $10,000 told us we need $100,000. The same day, they gave a company in the industrial park, forgave the mortgage basically, gave them a piece of taxpayer-owned land in the industrial park, and they said they had fulfilled all of the requirements of that mortgage, of that land being handed over to them, except one. What was the one requirement they hadn't fulfilled?
They failed to create the number of jobs.
Right. But they got a piece of free taxpayer-owned land,
Right.
which when the economy approves, they'll be in a position to flip and make money on.
Right.
Which is absolutely just completely outrageous. I didn't create any jobs last year. Can I have some free taxpayer-owned land? I would like some. Can I have some? I almost went up and asked for it, but I didn't.
Well, apparently you're not in the right organization.
That's the point. That's the point. Is that you're diverting money to this function that becomes no. There's no way around it. Become picking winners and losers based on politics and all kinds of other little local issues and political reasons, and it's corruption. It's corruption personified.
Well, you and I don't disagree on that.
No, right. I think the whole thing's a waste of money. Is what I'm saying.
We don't disagree. In the perfect world, we have a couple people over there working night and day to write grants to get all the federal and state dollars that we can.
Where'd the grant money go?
And well, exactly.
Where did the grant money go?
Exactly.
We have yet to hear where I can tell you where some of it went was to a prominent farm family that had land near Whiting Field, where we the taxpayers ended up buying the development rights to that property. We didn't get the title; we just got the development rights. They can still do it. They can still do whatever they want. That's in concert with the functions around Whiting Field, which, in my opinion, and I've asked and I've never gotten a straight answer. In my opinion, and I'm predicting this, means they could put industrial stuff on that land that they bought, something like $3 million that we handed them for the development rights. I think they can still use that for industrial reasons because it's near the industrial park on Whiting Field.
Right.
And they'll get away with it.
Well,
because it's a toilet. It's
you
money
know,
down the toilet.
The issue that we have here, because so many things are forced upon counties, the ability to have to get those grants, you have to have an economic development organization.
That's true.
You know, in order to get the BP money, you have to have an economic development organization. My thing is.
But the reason for that is because this BS has become so institutionalized nationwide that it's a money transfer process now, where it from the top down. It's where did the BP money go? Where did the stimulus money go? Please tell me how many jobs that ridiculous stimulus that my party initiated. Please tell me how many jobs that
very few.
Yeah.
Very few.
And where'd the money go?
Right.
It went into the pockets of organizations like Team Santa Rosa and Florida's Great Northwest, the so-called economic development agencies.
Rebuild Northwest Florida.
Show me the jobs.
Yeah.
Show me the jobs.
Oh, Deborah, I agree with you 100%. Where we find ourselves today, though, is a chairman who went against the wishes of the board of Team Santa Rosa, has gone against the wishes of the board of county commissioners. The ridiculous thing in all of this is the consultant report was put out there, and it's a lot of material, folks. It's not something you can read in 5 minutes and have a handle on it. The commissioners looked at Dave Hawksing and said, we'll need some time to look at this, and I think it should be on the January County Commission meeting. And Hawksing said, oh no, have to have it Thursday. Want you to vote on it on Thursday. Not so much about the money, but we want the 2-year extension. We want you to vote on it Thursday. And we did a round robin again, and Commissioner Cole and Commissioner Salter were expressing some support in that. And the other three, Lanchard, Melvin, and Williamson, were wanting to wait. And finally, Commissioner Williamson had enough, and he looked over at Commissioner Cole and said, okay, Commissioner Cole, make your motion. So Commissioner Cole made his motion that they extend the contract for 2 years, and Jim Williamson raised his hand and said, I object. And then I heard Commissioner Lanchard say, well, there's not even a second yet. Well, they saw the handwriting on the wall, so Commissioner Cole pulled his motion. You know, but Dave Hoxie tells him again. And then the commissioners tell him again. And Dave Hoxie tells him again. And the commissioners tell him again. Look, I don't understand Dave Hoxie's thought process, to be quite honest with you. I even heard reports that after the meeting that we just described to you, and you're going to see part of the videotape from, I was even told that they sent out a press release stating that they got the 2-year extension. Now, I haven't been able to document that yet. I don't have a copy of it in my hand, but I was told by a reliable source. But you know what? You got Gulf Power sitting there supporting Cindy Anderson. You got Dave Hoxie of Cat Country and 1620 supporting Cindy Anderson. You have representatives from SunTrust Bank sitting there supporting Cindy Anderson. You have the mayor of Gulf Breeze supporting Cindy Anderson. And what I have to say about this is, to the board members of team, your chairman just threw you under the bus. Your chairman just made you look bad. You all know what has been asked of you to do. That is, find a qualified individual to run economic development in Santa Rosa County, period, end of story, and change the name. And I just don't understand why that's so hard to grasp for Mr. Hoxie.
Well, what he doesn't understand is, again, team's been doing exactly what the county commission wanted them to do for the last 6 or 7 years, and this was part. I think this is part of Cindy Anderson's job, is to be thrown under the bus when the stuff gets hot. That's what happens. Is the heat's diverted to Team Santa Rosa?
Right.
Who approved the Pullen property purchase?
Right.
Was it Cindy Anderson and Dave Hoxie?
No, Board of County Commissioners.
Exactly.
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. So that they're responsible for this stuff. What's happened is you have an agency that was created for a specific purpose that had to do with hiding stuff, and now they're in the sunshine, and they're no longer able.
They're not functioning very well.
They're not functioning, and now they're running around the people that are on the board going, well, what are we doing here?
Right.
What's the point of this?
And for the record, folks, $20,000 of your taxpayer money went to Florida's Great Northwest, the organization that I talked about last week, that I've been working on a year to find out what they did with $15 million.
And they're claiming to be outside of the sunshine law now. They're
claiming to be outside. Well, I hope we get to the end of this in the near future. It is embarrassing for the county. The simple thing that should have been done, and it was asked for a month and a half ago, was to eliminate Cindy Anderson and potentially the entire staff of Team Santa Rosa and find people that are qualified to do that.
And I'm saying it makes no difference who's in there. You could have 5 monkeys in there, and this exact same stuff is going to continue to happen.
Well, it will be a problem, but you have to have someone in there that you can trust. And currently, I have seen what the current holder of that job does, and hiding behind the sunshine, and on and on and on and on and on. I hope the board of Team Santa Rosa will grasp the concept. I hope that they soon see the light. I think everybody's taking their position. For any of the board members who are watching this, let me help you understand something. There's 3 Santa Rosa County Board of County Commissioners that want a new person in charge of economic development, and they want the name changed, and they want it formalized soon. If you, the board members of Team Santa Rosa, do not accomplish those 2 tasks, then all funding, every member on this Team Santa Rosa board, and everything that goes on at Team Santa Rosa is going to be out the window. And you'll have to find another place to get a free ham sandwich at, because you're not going to be invited back over there anymore. It's time to do the right thing. It's time to do what the Board of County Commissioners have asked. It is time to have a qualified individual running economic development, someone we all can trust. The time is way past that.
You can't trust any of them.
Let's get it done.
I'm sorry.
I'm Jerry Cooey.
Get rid of it. Put the money towards blacktopping. I'm Deborah Nelson. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.
It's worth the price of admission to see some of this sometimes. earlier in this, just as a matter of clarification, it was stated that, and Mr. Walker, maybe you could clear it up. Mr. Hoaxing was under the impression that Team Santa Rosa had fulfilled every category of their contract.
I think what he's saying is that we did note that they had complied with the contract. That they are in compliance with what the performance review was of the contract.
And they've given the numbers, and they've made the presentations, and they've fulfilled all of that. I ask with a question mark. You say that they have.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
My knowledge. I mean, you know, we've looked at the contract. The board's seen the contract. We've given them an extension. It's either time to either make the decision.
Okay. I too received a letter, and let me, and actually I mean no disrespect to the Board of County Commissioners, but I think I need to turn this way. Mr. Hoaxing, I think what the general public is looking for, and what I have heard discussed many times at this board, is to replace the executive director of Team Santa Rosa. I certainly support economic development. I certainly support a U.S.-wide search for a person to replace that. This letter that you sent out, I don't appreciate either. It's America, and I'll get out in the street and defend your right to write a letter, but in the America that I live in, I get to respond to that letter. It's not a hobby, Mr. Hobson. I see things that are wrong. I've tried to have several private conversations with you, and you just don't seem to get it. You spent about 20 minutes up here not getting it, okay? It's not about eliminating Cindy Anderson. It's that we need a person with the proper qualifications to handle that job. And it's going to take a U.S.-wide search to do that. You want to call us a critic. I'll tell you, I'll remind you of some folks that used a lot of name calling, and they didn't get their way on tax issues and a few other things. But as a citizen, I don't appreciate it. I think you need to stop it.